Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Marks Radio. This is our report on the NXT TakeOver Dallas event held on 1st of April 2016, which aired live on the WWE Network. All in all, the show was awesome as fuck. It was an experience. And no doubt the expectations of all the fans around the world were duly met, in my opinion. The debut of Austin Aries left much to be desired, but the other matches, all in all, delivered right to the expectations. So, we should go right to the action one by one in a chronological order. So, the first official match, we had the Revival defending their NXT tag titles against the team of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, the American Alpha. This match was a textbook classic. To say that in the least, this match had four competitors who were hungry as fuck. They wanted to steal the show. This was the first match on the card that they wanted. That it is very difficult for the next competitors to be in the ring and to follow this match. It is very difficult. So this match was indeed awesome, as replicated by the chants of the crowd that this is awesome, this is awesome. It was textbook tag team wrestling which we saw. There were many heel shenanigans by the team of Dash Wilder and Dawson. We saw those things. The highlight of them was, Wilder going inside the apron and then going to the other side and dropping Jason Jordan down so that he doesn't get the tag from the exhausted Chad Gable. And here the highlight was when Jason Jordan got the hot tag from Gable. The crowd popped like shit. Seriously. And Jason Jordan, showcased his athleticism and his strength to the max in this match, and definitely the new champions, the American Alpha, deserved the titles. They were a hot, the team to be reckoned with this year, and they delivered like hell. So, this match was a great treat for the fans who. So, a great match, a great start at the top of the show. In the end, I would say that for the result that American Alpha won the match via pinfall, and that was also too close that in the end Dawson came and he was just a minuscule second away from breaking the count. And I am looking forward to the Revival cashing in their their rematch clause, and I expect nothing less but a classic. It may be on the next takeover, and it may be on any of the episodes of NXT. I am looking forward to these four competitors putting on another great match for the tag titles. And the second match, we had Austin Aries making his in-ring debut in NXT versus the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin. The match was decent at best. It followed the previous NXT tag titles match, so it left a little bit of the expectations were a little bit not satisfied, but the you can say the expectation of Aries being in an NXT ring and being in WWE were fulfilled for the audience. The match was a great showcase for Baron Corbin, in my opinion. Austin Aries was not the focal point, as we saw in the whole match. uh, Baron Corbin, we saw that he has improved a lot in terms of being in action. As in the initial days, he was only uh, in squash matches, squashing his opponents by the end of days and just pinning and going off. But this match was uh, did take him to the limit, and it was a decent match, but it showcased Baron Corbin being a great heel. He also played off the emotions of the crowd, and he was booed like booed like shit. There was many a times dead silence in the stadium. So it was, the people were uh, in anger or in frustration for Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin also played to one or two people who were in the crowd. They were chanting, and Baron Corbin holding Austin Aries in his holds, or maybe even hitting him, and then also answering those people in the crowd, saying that I'm going to squash this indie darling of sorts. But in the end, Austin Aries had a great debut in terms of getting the pinfall, getting the victory after countering the end of days, or the finisher of Baron Corbin, into a back roll up for a 3 count. So the end result was Austin Aries beating Baron Corbin via pinfall in a decent match, the second match of the night. A highlight moment of the match was the spot, which, or you can say the bump, which Aries took on the concrete floor, the deep three maneuver of Baron Corbin, which he hit on Austin Aries on the concrete floor. That was one of the highlights, you can say, of the match. And in the end, we saw Austin Aries smiling, at Baron Corbin, that Baron Corbin was being an overconfident piece of shit on the crowd and also on Baron Corbin, and saying that I'm gonna crush you, you indie darling. And we saw Baron Corbin being angry and frustrated because of the outcome of the match. So I expect that we shall see more matches, or maybe another match between these two competitors in future episodes of NXT. Now, the third match, we had Swagsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. This was, a build to a dream. It was a dream match for the professional wrestling fans around the world, and they witnessed it, or I should say, they experienced it, and it was short of nothing but an instant classic. It was a showcase of wrestling. A showcase of wrestling it was. We know about Shinsuke, that his skills as a wrestler, his skills as a hard hitting, brawling style, and his MMA background also came into play in this match. He had some vicious shots to the head via his signature knees and also his, hands. He doled it all on Sami Zayn. And in the end, Sami Zayn lost to a really well executed plan of Shinsuke. It was a great match, and it was the show stealer match. And undoubtedly, it was the in ring debut of Shinsuke Nakamura, and the farewell match for Sami Zayn in NXT. In the end of the match, we saw both the men embracing one another and showing respect towards one another for delivering an awesome match, a awesome wrestling match, so to speak, for the world to experience. And in the end, we saw Sami Zayn bidding goodbye to all the wrestling fans sitting there in the stadium and also millions watching on the WWE Network live. And Sami Zayn has been the heart and core of this NXT brand. He has been delivering excellent matches and he is the master of selling and of emotions, and they truly came into play in this match. One thing was evident that there was a spot when both the competitors were on the center of the ring and they were trading shots after shots, jabs, elbows to the head of one another. And when we also saw that Shinsuke was bleeding from his nose, it was really a hard hitting match and it was really an experience. And we also heard chants like "this is awesome, this is awesome." We also heard chants "fight forever," which was really the expectation, you can say they spoke the minds of millions watching around the globe this match. And in the end, Shinsuke won via pinfall by hitting the Kinshasa, formerly known as the Bombaye, on Sami Zayn, to get the victory on his debut in Dallas. It was a brilliant match and very well executed, and it was just brilliant. There were counters after counters, there were many near falls, and it was truly one of the best matches I personally have ever seen. Do let me know in the comment section below that what did you experience or what thoughts, arised in your minds watching this spectacle of a match. Next, we had both the ladies fighting it out for the top prize. We had Asuka versus Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship. This match had everything we can expect. It was a great match. We had counters, maneuvers, we had submission maneuvers used as counters. But in the end, Asuka winning the match, we saw that Asuka's biggest, you can say, when she looked the weakest ever in an NXT ring. We saw it today. Bayley being the resilient and champion, not giving up till the end, and also when the bell rung, she didn't quit, she didn't tap, but she passed out. When she was logged in and Asuka logged by Asuka, but still she was in that log for a very long time. She was fighting like hell to get out of that log, but in the end, Asuka winning the match, and the rest is history. It was a great match. We saw Bayley attacking on the four limbs, specifically the legs of Asuka, which are, you can say, the lethal weapons of Asuka. She uses her legs to, you can say, for submission maneuvers. We saw her using the legs for an armbar. We saw her using the kicks to inflict pain on the other opponent. And Bayley also, being the resilient and hard fighting champion with her submission skills and also with her brawling. But all in all, it was a great match, and it wasn't it felt short. Some, you can say that for some people it was a little bit, you can say, a little short, very little short of expectations, because Earlier in the show, they saw a spectacle, Zayn versus Nakamura, but given the fact of that match and giving due, you can say, due consideration to what both the ladies had in store, it was a great match and it was a great outing for both the competitors. In the end, we saw Asuka staring in, you can say, the eyes of Bailey, and Bailey being attended by both the referees and medical assistants on the outside of the ring. And I expect that this rivalry is far from being over. Far from being over. And we'll see what happens now. Asuka being the NXT Women's Champion, and now Bailey will cash in her rematch clause when we'll see it on the next episode of WWE NXT. So, this was it for this match. And next was the main event of the evening. We had Finn Balor facing Samoa Joe for the top prize in the males division, that was the NXT Championship. All in all, the match was superb, and it was taken up a notch by the first initial sequence when inadvertently those two competitors bumped head, which caused a cut on the eye of Samoa Joe, which, the blood was coming out profusely, and very well, the PG rating of WWE, as we all know, the bleeding, the blood was so much on display that many at times in the initial part of the match we saw the medical team and also the referee, uh, you can say, wiping off the blood off of Samoa Joe's body, Samoa Joe's face, but that the blood also added to the emotion and also added to the intensity of the match by far, definitely, in my opinion. And in the end, Finn Balor won via rather, you can say, a weird roll up of sorts. Samoa Joe had him in the coquina clutch, but Finn Balor rolled up and he was on his legs, but Samoa Joe was down, his shoulders were down, and it led to counting of the 1, 2, 3 by Drake Younger, and that was it. The match, all in all, the intensity, it was a hard hitting match between the two competitors. It was a great, you can say, a great bout, and it also entertained and engaged the audience, you can say, uh, around the globe, and it was a great match. The last sequence was that uh, Samoa Joe had Finn Balor in the coquina clutch. Initially, Finn Balor hit the signature dropkick on Samoa Joe, and then from the turnbuckle he laid down. Then Finn Balor hit the coup de grace, and he pulled him up. He was going for the Bloody Sunday. Now it's called the 1916 here in NXT, as Bloody Sunday is not too PG. So he was hitting for it, but Samoa Joe countered that move with the Coquina clutch. He had him tight. The crowd was shouting that yes, we are gonna get a new champion, but it was not to be. It was an unexpected ending, which was the icing on the cake. The fans were all on the edge of their seats every time when there were any near falls. In a little bit back in the middle of the match, Samoa Joe also hit Finn Balor with the Muscle Buster, which got a 2 count. Still, NXT champion Finn Balor. And as always, Finn Balor's entrance was a rather great spectacle. He had a chainsaw in his hand, and then he crawled up to the NXT Championship in his entrance. And many people expected that maybe Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows might debut. I also expected that, but no way in hell. It was as clean as it can possibly get. Finn Balor retaining the championship at the close of the show, and he posed with the NXT championship as the show went to a close. So, friends, this is it for this edition of Wrestling Marks Radio NXT TakeOver Report. This is Abby Maniac, and our request here from Wrestling Marks is for you to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for listening, subscribers, and new listeners. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks.